Hey, you're at Menacing MTG. Today we have a Simic deck that has a lot of card draw, a lot of +1/+1 counters, and mana ramp in it. So, Simic Ascendancy is a card that allows you, an enchantment that allows you to put +1/+1 counters on creatures. And then you get a counter for every on Simic Ascendancy for every +1/+1 that is on that's placed on a creature, not only by Simic Ascendancy. Excuse me. So, however, things get +1/+1 counters, they count. When Simic Ascendancy is on the field and you put +1/+1 counters on anything, they all get counted individually onto Simic Ascendancy. If you get 20 or more at the beginning of your following upkeep, you win the game. Okay, so I have 4 Simic Ascendancies in this deck, and this is one avenue to victory for this deck. Um, so let me show you how we get 1/1 counters on creatures in this deck. First of all, as a simple solution, we have 4 Wildwood Scourge, and this creature comes on the board with X +1/+1 counters on it, and you can pay as much mana as you have or want to put that amount of 1/1 counters on. So that's a very quick vehicle to get +1/+1 counters onto Simic Ascendancy, or I'm sorry, what do they call them? Growth counters. Okay, so yeah, 4 Wildwood Scourge. Okay, in addition to that, another classic one is Hydroid Krasis. Now, I only have 2 in here, and I own 3, and I had 3, but I yanked one. And I'll tell you why, because the secondary attribute of Wildwood Scourge is that whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Wildwood Scourge. Okay, so when you bring Krasis on, and if you have a Scourge on the board, you bring Krasis on, he gets a bunch of +1/+1 counters. It doesn't add any +1 counters to Scourge. As opposed to that, if you bring Stonecoil Serpent on when you have a Scourge on the board, then Scourge gets +1/+1 counter. All right, so you get an additional +1 counter on Scourge when Stonecoil comes in. Biogenic Ooze. Now, this is also at the beginning of every end step, every ooze counter you get gets +1/+1. So, you can create ooze tokens with this biogenic ooze. You get one automatically when you bring it on the battlefield. And so you get this wild +1/+1. So for every creature, every ooze that gets a +1/+1 counter, then you're adding them to Wildwood Scourge. You're putting them on Simic Ascendancy. It can go wild very quickly. Okay, so we've talked about these 3 different creatures that equal 9 creatures. And then we have 3 Biogenic Ooze. So that's 12 creatures that have come on with or add +1/+1 counters. Then we have 2 Vivian Arcbow Ranger. And it's +1/+1. Allows you to distribute 2 +1/+1 counters. So say you have a Hydroid Krasis on the board, you have a Wildwood Scourge on the board. I would suggest you put the 2 1/1 counters on Hydroid Krasis because, I'm sorry, that's not a good example because it's a Hydra. I'm sorry, Hydra. So if we had Wildwood Scourge and anything else that isn't, because there's only 6 Hydras in here. So anything else creature-wise, you drop the +1/+1 counters on the other creatures. Then Wildwood gets counters as well. Okay, so you got that. Now we do have one Skatewing Sky in here, Spy rather, and we have very limited flying, as you can see. We have the Krasis and we have this. This doesn't have flying, but it does have Adapt, which allows you to put 2+1/+1 creatures for the cost of 6. Um, but what it has is each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has flying. Okay, so that can be lights out. I have a paper deck, Simic paper deck. It doesn't have the Scourge. It doesn't have the Henge. It doesn't have Vivian. It's from a couple of years ago when Ooze was pretty new, the Biogenic Ooze that is. And I do have a couple of Skatewing Spy in that deck, and it's very effective. It is hard playing paper to keep track of all the counters, in fact. Um, so, yeah, we have that in there to help the cause out. We do have, related to +1/+1 counters, we have one Ozolith here. If you get this on the board and you're throwing counters and something gets killed, say a Wildwood Scourge gets killed, all the +1/+1 counters go on to Ozolith, and then you can move them at the beginning of your next combat turn. You can move them to a different creature, a single target creature. All right, so then we have Chain Web Arachner, and this is a 1/2 1-drop, and when it comes on the board, it deals 1 damage. Well, damage equal to its power, I should say, to a target creature with flying and an opponent controls. So you say, oh, well, 1 damage. Yeah, you can take out a Healer's Hawk, but more than that, when Chainweb dies, so you can block a big flyer with this, it dies for 5. You can bring it back with 3 1/1 counters on it. So it becomes a 4/5. And when it comes back from escape, it can do then 4 damage to a flyer. Pretty potent. There's not much combat for flyers, but we do have those 2 flyers and one that Skatewing can become a flyer, and others with 1/1 counters can become a flyer when Skatewing is on the board. But this is a good item because it also adds counters, which can make Wildwood Scourge go nuts, which can add a lot of counters to Simic Ascendancy. Okay, so that's great. Then we have a whole lot of mana ramp. Let's talk about that quickly. So we have 3 Leafkin Druid, 2-drop, and you can tap it for 1 green mana. If you have 4 or more creatures, you can tap it for 2 instead. 1 Paradise Druid. This has hexproof unless it's tapped, and you can tap it for 1 mana of any color. So there's 4 creature-born mana sources. 1 Growth Spiral. You can play an additional land when you use this. Draws a card. The 4 Simic Senses. Then we have 3 Cultivate. So when you play Cultivate, you can search your library for up to 2 basic lands and put 1 onto the battlefield tapped and the other in your hand. If you play Cultivate and you haven't played a land yet this turn, you get 1 on the board tapped, and then the other one that comes to your hand you get to put on, and it's untapped. Okay, Evolution Sage. There's 4 of these. And this is a potent card once you get things on the board, okay? Once you get some creatures with 1/1 counters on them. So you got a Scourge and something else on the board. You got the Vivian Planeswalker on the board. Say you have 4 mana in hand, and you got 4 mana on the board, and you got a land in your hand. Put this down first, then drop the land, and then you get to proliferate. So you get to add an additional counter to anything with a counter. Huge card. You can have multiple of these on the board. Goes absolutely wild. So then, of course, I had mentioned Vivian puts the 1/1s on. Skatewing, I mentioned that. I think that's it with one exception in the land, which we're going to shift quickly to the land here. We got 7 Island, 8 Forest, 4 Hinterland Harbor, 4 Fabled Passage. And we have 4 Fabled Passage in here because, let me locate the item. because of Evolution Sage, of course. So say you have the Sage on the board, you bring a Fabled Passage on the board, it triggers Proliferate. Then you sack Fabled Passage and search for a basic land, put it on the board, it triggers Proliferate. Okay, so that's why we have 4 in here. Might even be tempted to do a Evolving Wilds. But there you have it. So we have the Hinterland Harbor that covers both lands, and then you have the 15 basic lands, and then we have 1 Karn's Bastion in here. And this is in here because for 4 and a tap of this card, you get to proliferate. So we have a whole bunch of proliferating potential in this deck, and we can get big things going absolutely crazy. Okay, so that is the whole deck with a couple exceptions here that I didn't mention. One, we have 1 sleep in here, and when this comes up, it's always like, oh boy, thank goodness I have sleep. And boom, you go ahead and you tap the opponent's creatures, and they remain tapped for that turn and the following turn. Okay, it can just give you a whole lot of breathing room to kind of evolve what you got going on and likely win the game. So we get the 1 sleep. Then we have 1 Great Henge. So Great Henge, you get big creatures on the board. You can bring this on for practically free oftentimes. And when you get it on the board, it's just such a coup because guess what? Every creature you bring on the board when you have Great Henge comes on with a +1/+1 counter on it, and you draw a card. Additionally, you can tap it for 2 mana and gain 2 life. Okay, so just over the top. So it's even more mana for when you bring on one of these Wildwood Scourge, Stonecoil Serpent, or Hydroid Krasis. Okay, Krasis, I will mention, is the only life gain in the deck. Whenever you cast this spell, you gain half X and draw half X cards, round down each time. Hydroid Krasis enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. So if you have 5 mana and you pay 2, 1 blue, 1 green, then you have 3. So if you paid 5 mana and brought a Krasis on, it would be a 1/1. And it would draw 1 card. I'm sorry, it would be a 3/3, but you would only draw 1 card and gain 1 life. Is that right? No. Okay, if you paid 5 mana to bring a Krasis on, it would be a 3/3, and you'd get 2 life and draw 2 cards. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Oh, half. I'm sorry, half. So yeah, I was right the first time. So it would be a 1/1 and draw 1 card. If you brought it on with 6 mana, it would be a 2/2 and draw 2 cards. 10 mana, 8/8, draw 8 cards. No, I'm sorry, 4/4. I'm sorry, I'm really spacing out crazy here. I'm mixing up terms. Let me restate this. So Hydroid Krasis, you pay 10 mana to bring this on. 1 blue, 1 green, and 8 other mana. It comes on as an 8/8. It draws 4 cards, and you gain 4 life each turn. Okay, so there you have it. Sorry about that confusion. And I didn't really mention in detail these two. I'll quickly do it. Vivian, so I mentioned the +1/+1, but it also has a -3, and this can get you out of bind, and you have large creatures typically on the board. So you can use its -3 and use one of your creatures and deliver damage to an opponent creature equal to that target creature, power of the target creature or planeswalker. Okay, and then it has a -5. You may reveal a creature card you own outside of the game and put it into your hand. So in a second, we'll look at the sideboard, and I'll show you what I have in there. So there's 2 of these Vivians, remember, so this is great. All you have to do is use this a few times, and then you can use its -5 and bring a creature from outside of the game on the board, and this continues to live, because if you use it twice, it'll be at a 6 if it doesn't take damage. Okay, quickly, Biogenic Ooze, just amazing card. I think I kind of gave you the quick overview, but it comes on the battlefield. You create a 2/2 ooze token. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 on each ooze you control. And then at any time that you have 4 mana, 3 of it has to be green, you can create another 2/2 ooze token. And then they all get +1/+1 at the beginning of your end step. So, and there's 3 of these in here. So these make Wildwood Scourge go absolutely crazy. So that is just an insane combination there. Okay, so now let's take a quick look at the sideboard. Okay, so we have an additional Skatewing Spy in here because, there's only one in there. And once you get a ton of stuff on, you have a ton of mana, you just grab this guy and put him on. And the way you grab him again is using Vivian's alt, the -5. So we have one Jadecraft Artisan. There's different reasons you're going to pull different cards. If you don't have a lot of mana going on, because you can bring that Planeswalker on for just 4. Here's a 4-drop. You just want to get this on. You need 2 more counters on your Simic Ascendancy or whatever. This enters the battlefield. It's a 3/3 creature, and a target creature of yours gets +2/+2 to end of turn. Questing Beast. This is probably the least likely thing you're going to use in here, but Questing Beast, you know what it does. 4/4 Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Can't be blocked with creatures power 2 or less, and so on and so forth. Read the card. If you don't know it already, it's insane. One Wicked Wolf, you're low on land. We have Kogla in here that does a similar thing, but say you only have 4 or 5 mana, you can bring this on and it fights a creature you don't control. So you want to get rid of something that's causing you grief, and that has a toughness of 3 or less. Bring on Wicked Wolf, he fights it. Okay. So then we have one Solemn Simulacrum. You just desperately need 1 more mana for something, a land. You bring this on, you get a land. Okay, and when it dies, you get to draw a card. Unlikely you're going to use that, but hey, you never know. You might need a land. Kogla. Okay, you got 6 mana to spare. Bring him on. When he comes on, he fights 1 target creature you don't control, and he's a 7/6. He also has the attribute that return human card to its owner's hand, that you control to its owner's hand, and Kogla gets indestructible. I'm trying to think if we have any humans. I think there are elves and druids. I don't think we have any humans, so that's kind of a moot point. Okay, Hornet Queen, say you're going against flyers. You have this one opportunity to get some flyers on the board, and boom, put this on the board. It is a 7-drop. But it gives you a 2/2 flying Death Touch creature and 4 1/1 flying Death Touch creature tokens. So there you have it. All of a sudden you have 5 Death Touch flyers. Then beyond that is the big guy, Craterhoof. For goodness sakes, if you have all these crazy big Hydras and Ooze tokens and you bring Craterhoof on the board, whoa. They all get trample and get +X until the end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. Okay, if you haven't seen it in action, it's insane. Okay, it is a super potent card, really good. It is an 8-drop. Okay, there's one other thing I just want to make sure that I make clear to you, and that is Vivian here. So when you do add +1/+1 counters to creatures using its +1 ability, they gain trample till the end of turn, which is important because the Scourge does not have trample. Okay, Krasis does, and Serpent does, but Scourge, which you have 4 of, and they get big quick, it's going to likely be your biggest creature on the board. It's awfully nice to give it trample till the end of turn, and yeah, so there it is. There's your deck. I hope you love it. I hope you have the opportunity to build it. It's fun. Thanks for tuning in, and please consider subscribing and give me a like or suggestion. Have a great day. Okay, here we are. I like this hand. We have both colors of land, and we have 3 of them, which is great. We have the Druid we can bring on. The opponent goes first, so that's a bummer. But with Druid, we'll be able to play Sleep and Vivian. You know, we might bring this on turn 3. Yeah, if we bring the Druid on turn 2, then we could bring this Serpent on turn 4 for 4/4. Or we could bring the Serpent on, no, turn 3 I meant, as a 4/4. Yeah, that's how it'll work. We could bring it on as a 2/2. I don't think that's a good call. Then bring the Druid on, then put 1/1 counter on. I just don't think it's the greatest idea. Okay, we've gotten a Wildwood Scourge, which is awesome. We'll hope that the Druid is not destroyed by this black deck we are facing. Okay, that's interesting. We got a Death Touch token on our Druid, which may come in handy later. Right now, we're going to put the Serpent up. We're going to have to let this creature come in, and he may, yeah, he may hang around and block for a turn, depending on what he's going to do next. They may remove the Serpent. They will remove the Serpent. Which in some ways is almost preferable because we have this Druid here. We can use it to make a Scourge very big. And we will bring him in as a 5/5. Whoops. 4/4, I take that back. We're taking a little bit of a beating here. We do have this Sleep in here, and this is, we're going to get to see how this Sleep can really help out. We also have the Ranger, which I could bring him on and boost up Wildwood and the Leafkin with Death Touch. Really keep things at bay perhaps, but I probably would lean to dropping Sleep first. Well, with Crystalline Giant, especially motivated to do that at this point. We're going to exile that card. It's okay with me. Yeah, I'm not. There comes the nightmare. I'm not surprised. Okay, now I've got a difficult choice here because I really want that Ooze on board. I've got to do it. I've got to bring the Ooze on. I'm going to hold off on Fable Passage just in case I get the Proliferate card. We got to go with Ooze because it's going to make the Scourge go absolutely crazy here. I want you to see this. Here it goes. It's going to get 2 tokens because both creatures added a +1/+1 counter. And that creates a big problem. They're going to be motivated to take out that Biogenic Ooze. Some serious deliberation here by the opponent, Akira. Ouch, okay, that hurts. Okay. Okay, so right now we have 7 mana, not quite enough to do both these things. But I think I'm going to bring on Vivian.
Civilization has
And I think what I'm going to do here is take out the Nightmare, bringing Vivian down to 1.
You're done.
We've got pretty solid blockers here. Now, of course, we have not seen the Simic Ascendancy, and we're almost just about a quarter of the way through the deck. Okay, this guy is protection from green, okay. They do now have a flyer, so this is a beautiful thing, and I've got the mana to do it, I think, here. So let's see, so 3, yes. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going to bring, it's important that I bring the Sage on first because I want to use Fable Passage, and I'll get to use it twice. Actually, in fact, before I do any of that, what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to put this on the board. Okay, the order is super important here because I wanted to put that on the board and I want to put a counter on it because you can see I'm going to put a counter here and here. So everything has a counter. So when I proliferate, everything gains an additional counter. Okay, now I'm going to bring on Fable Passage. Everything's going to proliferate. Did I not put a counter on this guy? I thought I did. I think I accidentally put... I don't know what just happened there. Why am I not proliferating? We have... Oh my goodness, what a huge bummer. This guy is not allowing 1/1 counters, okay? That's a major problem. I missed that. Okay, well, they're locked up, so we'll just have to make do. We can come in with 9 this turn. And this will at least bump up the Vivian, I believe. It does bump up the Vivian, so that's good. Because Vivian is exposed right now, they can bring this flyer in. Well, they're going to take out the Druid, okay. Okay, so we are in excellent shape here. They remained locked up. We get the Ooze on the board, and unfortunately they're not getting counters, which is a major bummer. Let's see. So, unfortunately, protection from green, so I can't even take it out until I get a blue creature on the board. Yeah, they're done anyway. We had enough to kill them. So, see, we had a total of 14, so we would have killed them. So there's a victory. Okay, I like this hand okay. It's only got 2 lands, which is kind of a bummer. But we do have the Chain Web, and we do have Simic Ascendancy, so we're going to give it a run. Definitely are going to want a land pretty darn quick. Fortunately, not a quick start by the opponent. But we definitely are eager for a land here. Even a single land will not get us out of trouble. It'll help a little bit, as we could bump up the Chain Web. Okay, there it is. That's excellent news. So we'll bring this up. And I think what we'll do is put the Scourge up as a 2/2. And this is slim pickings here. We're working hard here just to get a little bit going. If we don't get anything next turn, I'll be wrestling with putting a counter on or bringing the Sage on. I'm hoping a land comes in, then I could put the Sage up, then the land, and add a 1/1 to Scourge, and add 2 counters onto Simic Ascendancy. I think they'll probably attack with the Prince. I will not block. Okay, that's the dream come true right there, folks. So we will bring the Sage on. Then we'll get to bring this on twice and see submit 2. Again. Okay, now what you're seeing here is next turn I'll have a choice. I can bring on Vivian and put 1/1 counters on. I would probably drop one on the Chain Web and on the Evolution Sage. And that would add 2 counters to this. And the alternative is to bring this on and then this has flying. But we'll wait a turn, probably bring on Vivian next. No attacks. After Vivian next turn, I believe we can probably attack with the Scourge. Oh, that hurts terribly bad. Okay. Not all is lost, though, because we can bring on... Do we have enough in the graveyard? I don't think so. I think I have to have 4 in there. 4, yep, we're out of luck. Okay, so we have to bring on the Skatewing Spy. We'll hope it lasts a turn. We don't have enough mana even to evolve it yet. To pricey evolve 6-drop to add a 1/1/1 counter to it, we can just add it with this for much cheaper. Okay, so let's take a quick look here. So we have 6 land down. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this.
Tearing this place to the ground.
2 1/1 counters on it, and now it has flying. Well, it would have had flying. Okay, good play there. This Orzhov deck, we're playing a whole lot of Revitalize, turn Prince, and then the Sweeper. Okay, here we go. Now let's hope we can last the turn. And go ahead and add a counter to these guys, and then they're going to add a counter to themselves.
I'd get out of the way if I
So we're bumping up lots of counters here on Simic Ascendancy quickly here. Okay, they're doing a whole lot of gain life, draw cards. We're a little bit worried about the Planeswalker that wins the game. You have a certain amount of life. Okay. Okay, we have... He's gonna kill Biogenic Ooze very soon, so we want to get things going here. And we can indeed bring this on now and get a bunch of counters. And I think it's most important now to attack with these guys. I'm considering killing this creature so we have a clean shot and can maximize the damage before he can take me out with Font of Agonies. Let's do that. Oh, I forgot about that. He gains indestructible. He kills creatures like crazy here.
We're gonna tear you apart.
Oh, that didn't go well at all. Yikes, Font of Agonies. You rarely see that in play, and that was so incredibly effective. And then he took out the Planeswalker. That was absolute destruction there. I have one micro benefit going on here. And we will get another counter on the Ascendancy. What the heck is going on here? I just missed what happened there. Whenever you pay life, what move for? Okay, I'm not sure how he just killed me. Wow, I totally missed whatever just happened there. They're giving it up. We would have been able to bring the chain web on again and have our Ascendancy up. I think it might have tipped the 20. And wasn't sure if it said 13 or 18. Strange game. Sorry about the chaos there. Okay, not fond of this hand. Not fond of this hand at all here. Yeah, we'll have to play the Fable Passages blue first. I'm sticking with it because we have the Paradise Druid. Okay, looks like possibly a rat deck, which can cause some troubles. We just got to get our footing. We're going to need some more land here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, we'll let one of the evolutions go. No block there. Okay, this is good news here. Let's see. Boy, I hate to not use that Fable Passage with the Evolution Sage, but we're gonna. I'm gonna put the Serpent up for 3 and pass the turn. Because next turn I can put the Sage up and bump the Serpent. I don't like this at all. Oh boy, they're going to be able to use Piper to steal. They do need 1 more mana to do so. So I think we have to shift gears here. And we'll leave that just like that, but we're going to, darn it, we can't do it. I am going to pray that they don't get another land here, otherwise we have a major problem. The safest bet is here the Evolution Sage. Next turn we can make the Stonecoil Serpent fight the Piper. They got the land. Oh, but it came in tapped. We are so fortunate. So they have 3 rats. Nope. Yeah, that's a loss, but that's okay. Okay, so very important here. With 1 more land, their next turn, thankfully this came on tapped. With 4 mana, Piper can tap and sack 3 target creatures and take control of one of our creatures. So what we're going to do is bring on Vivian, and there's going to be sacrifice attached to this, but we're going to go ahead and do it. And we're going to have Vivian destroy Piper.
You picked the wrong fight.
And then we're going to stay tight, and what we're going to have to do is we may lose both these creatures blocking these guys. We'll see what happens, what they bring on. Oh, yikes. Okay. Alright, they'll bring both those rats. All the rats? All of them. Okay, we are going to lose Vivian. So then in that case, we're not going to block. Okay, we'll just let those guys through.
I've seen too many species die already.
All right, so we have enough mana. We got to do it. Get the ooze up. No attacks. We'll lose the serpent here. Oh, yikes. I was hoping he wouldn't do that. Okay, we will lose the serpent, indeed. Okay. That was a mistake. I think we're going to hold on to the Crisis and dredge for some land here with Growth Spiral. Did not get it, and we'll hold both those right now. No attacks. So we'll use the Scourge first because we're hoping for even more land because we want to gain some life with Crisis. We can lose the chain web to a Typhoid Rat. We can bring him back at a later point. Okay, they're going to tap a little of their life supply. Prowler, good card, very good card. Okay, we'll let one of those in, we'll take the other out. So if they get another Piper, they won't be able to use it. So we're going to have to just come right here and bring a Scourge on at the value of 4, rather. 4, let's see. No attack. Although this does have protection from multicolor. This could kill it, but the Prowler could not. Okay, they're building quite a force here, and this saga is going to cause us some grief. So they get to put 3+1/+1 counters on a creature, which will probably be the Prowler. Okay, now interesting dilemma here. I think we have to bring the chain web on. Okay, we get a bump on the Scourge, so that worked pretty well. Okay, that hurts very badly. Very bad. Okay, yeah, we got to take these guys out. I'm afraid it's gonna hurt. All right. So, I think what we're going to do here is something a little different than my original plan of Hydroid Crisis. We're going to try to survive another turn. I'm going to put up the Evolution Sage. We're going to put up Simic Ascendancy. And we're going to put up the Karn's Bastion, which will give us future proliferate opportunities, and we proliferate with Evolution Sage now. And there's going to be a whole lot of action here. So immediately get 7 on the Ascendancy, and we have now some very sturdy creatures. The problem is this is going to hurt because they're probably going to come with a bunch of stuff here. And I'm going to have to block and lose life. We will gain. We have now... Ouch. Oh, that hurt bad. Okay. 6 mana, so we can bring him on as a 4/4, and we're only going to gain 2 life. And we aren't going to get the maximization. What would be best is if we get another land now. We would have benefited from having Wildwood Scourge on the board there. Okay, I think we're lucky that this is what all they're doing here. So we're going to go ahead and block with the Chain Web. They gain life, but we do not lose life. Very surprised they did that. We got our wish. We got our land, which is going to allow us, it allowed us to proliferate, now we're up to 11 here, and let's see, we have a grand total of 7, so we can bring this on as a 5/5. Draw some cards. One of them a land, which is fabulous. Okay, I'm just surveying here. We did gain some life. We get a flyer, which is ultra valuable. We do, let's remember, have this on board to block Prowler, because he has protection from multicolor. So we'll just stay put here. This is scary, scary. But we're on the verge of winning this game. We can proliferate with Karn next turn, and then win the following turn. If they may not be on to that. I'm hoping they're not on to that. Okay, now this gets a little scary because killing him means extra damage. We're ultra lucky they're not coming in with these little things. It's extremely foolish. We're gonna have to kill him. We could block with this and lose it. Really, all we want to do is, geez, I think we're going to block with this and lose it. So I don't want to lose more life. I don't care about them gaining life. Have they lost track of Simic Ascendancy here? Yeah, we're going to... Oh, boy. Okay, so... let's do the math here. 5. I got... okay, we're going to proliferate here. We're going to go ahead and bring Ooze on because we're going to get there by virtue of this. All right, and then we're going to... All right, so this should tip us up to 20. We got more to come as Biogenic Ooze mature and add a +1/+1 counter. So now it's merely about the art of staying alive through this turn. We don't care how much life they gain. We just need to stay alive. And we will win this. Okay, and they're looking for the right card. Oof. Okay. Destroy target creature they have on them. They don't have anything to destroy that enchantment. the best of my knowledge. They're tapped out pretty much 1 mana in hand, 1 gold coin, so they can kill the Krasis. That is of no consequence. They may have thought that it would take away counters from Simic Ascendancy. If they did, they thought wrong. I think we've got this game now. Ooh, okay, he can take a creature. Do they have enough rats? No, they spent the rats. They don't have enough rats. They can have that. It does nothing for them. We will win this game. I cannot see a way that we will not. Excellent game, though. There it is. There it is, folks. So, hey, I hope you like this video. Cool deck. Please consider subscribing and join me again for my next video. Have a great day.